So the fixture list is out and a lot of people are losing their minds. And I don't understand why people are reacting in this way. Who could we possibly be facing for people to react in the way that they are? For people to be scared and terrified of how Arsenal are going to start this season? After all, we are in phase 5, phase 6. We have bought so many players. We should be the favourites going into next season to win the Premier League. We have been second for the last 3 seasons. So therefore, we should have optimism and hope for us to go into next season and win the Premier League or win a major honour, whether it's the Premier League or the Champions League, one of those 2 trophies. Obviously there's the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup, and those are important trophies as well, but for the amount of time that Arsenal have gone through, Arsenal need to win one of those 2 trophies, especially for the time taken. It has taken over the last couple of years, probably 5-6 years since Arsenal have won the FA Cup. So yeah, Arsenal should be going into the next season as favourites. But let's just look at these fixture lists. Why are people losing their marbles? So the first game is against Manchester United, and Manchester United, who were 15th last season, who lost to Tottenham in the Europa League. We are away at Old Trafford. Don't get me wrong, Old Trafford is a difficult ground, but I'm not worried in the slightest of Manchester United. Yeah, they got Mbeumo. Yeah, they got Cunha, or I think Mbeumo has pretty much gone to Manchester United, but Arsenal are strong enough to beat them. Who's next? Leeds United at home. That's going to be hopefully a decent game. They're just coming up. They want to prove themselves, but I believe Arsenal can get a result. The other game is against Liverpool, the champions essentially of the Premier League, or champions of England. We are going away to Anfield. That's going to be a very, very difficult game. But we went there, we were 2-2, we got a 2-2 result. So who knows, maybe we might be able to do something at Anfield. Yes, we were 2-0 down, but we managed to come back 2-2. So maybe we might have learned some lessons, but that is going to be a difficult game. Nottingham Forest at home, they've done very well in the Premier League last season. I think they missed out on European places, especially in the Champions League, especially for them being at the top of the table for so long, especially in the top 4 places. So they're going to prove themselves. So yeah, that's going to be a difficult game, but I don't see why Arsenal can't beat Nottingham Forest. Then comes Manchester City at home. We demolished them 5-1 last season, but they've gone into the transfer window and they've made some big moves. They got Aït-Nouri, they got Cherki, they got Reinders. So they are there to show that they're back essentially. Pep is motivated, he's got a new coaching staff, they're there to prove a point, and it's going to be a completely different game. It's going to be a more difficult game. Some may say that Man City are really going to go for the Premier League next season, and you know what, you can never rule them out, so that's going to be another difficult game. And lo and behold, Newcastle United away at St James Park with Isak and Tonali and all those guys, and God knows who they're going to get in the summer. I've heard that maybe some players may be offloaded, they might need to go to other clubs. Anthony Gordon is a very popular name, he might go to Liverpool apparently, that's what the rumours are saying, but you never know with what's going to happen. So yeah, the first 6 games of the season, they're tough. You know, you have to go away to United, Liverpool, you're facing Manchester City at home, Newcastle away. Those are some pretty tough games, but you know what, this is a good thing. At least by seeing the results in the first 6 games, we can make the prediction or the assumption of where Arsenal are going to finish at the end of the season. Because the one thing that Arsenal fans fell into the trap of last season, and the big mistake that they made, was the fact that they kept saying, despite the poor results that Arsenal were getting at the start of the season, they kept saying, the season's long, we have time, we can catch up, not to worry. But the thing is that with the Premier League, you need to be on point every single game. Every game is important. You can't disrespect any game, and every game you need to get points essentially. So because this team or this whole regime has been going on for far too long, and for the fact that Arsenal haven't won a trophy or a major trophy in such a long time, people are going to look into every game this season, and there's going to be high scrutiny in all of those games, especially if Arsenal don't get results in many of those games. So because of that, and especially with the amount of time, and especially with Arsenal going into this transfer window, especially since they didn't do much last summer and in January, we can hope that Arsenal are going to do something in this transfer window. Now that's going to be a separate discussion in itself, but the main point what I'm trying to say is this team has been together long enough. This club has built this squad for as long as it has and kept this manager in and trusted this regime for as long as they have, I don't see why Arsenal and Arsenal fans can't go into next season and expect major honours or expect to go into these games, and don't get me wrong, a lot of these games are quite tough, and not expect to get maximum results out of these games. Now for me, I'm a guy that sorts of looks at things and tries to be hopeful in some sense, but the thing is that with me, for me to believe that Arsenal will win the Premier League next season, or at least challenge to some extent, in these 6 games out of the 18 points, they need to get 14 points. 14 out of 18 points, I think that's fair, because this is a team that's been second over the last couple of years. This is a team that should be gunning for the Premier League at this point. And despite how people may feel about United or Newcastle or Forest or Liverpool or City, I think in these games we can get 14 points out of 18. Now we may lose a game, we might lose to Liverpool. Hell, maybe Newcastle might get a game against us, or City, or any of those sorts of teams, but I don't see why we can't beat them. Last season, there was the excuse that the players were essentially run to the ground and they were completely done essentially after last season, and they couldn't get back into the 24-25 season. But for this season, especially with the summer of not having to play the Club World Cup, there are no excuses. They're going to get plenty of rest, they're going to get a nice holiday, they're going to come back, be refreshed, all of these players, and especially with the manager and the club and the backroom staff, especially with the transfers, they will have every opportunity to go into next season fully prepared. And I don't want to see on August 17th or August 15th, whenever the season starts, that Arsenal aren't prepared. They haven't addressed their depth, they haven't got their main key players in, whether it's the striker, left winger, midfielder, whoever the hell they need to bring in. I don't want to see excuses next season. And as Arsenal fans, especially with the amount of time that has been taken to make this godforsaken squad, Arsenal fans shouldn't be worried either. And if for whatever reason the results don't go Arsenal's way, especially in the first 6 to 10 games of the season, we're going to have serious conversations, especially when we're in phase 5 or phase 6 years into this whole process or whatever it is. All right, so yeah, that is my views on the fixture list. It is tough, but so what? Who cares? The whole Premier League is tough. Every team is competitive from top to bottom, from the first team in the Premier League to whoever's 20th. Every team's tough. You've got to deal with it. And if you want to win the league, you have to beat these teams. There's no going around it. You can't just cut corners in this game. But yeah, that's the end of this video. Hope to see you all soon. Yeah, that's it for me. Hopefully like and subscribe. Bye bye.